U.S. Democrat Andy Kim has become the first Korean American elected to Senate. Now, how is his win a symbol of the Korean American dream? We're joined by Kyung Yoon, president of Korean American Community Foundation. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Now, how has the Korean American community reacted to his win last week? Let's start with that.
Well, I have to say that there was so much joy and celebration and just expressions of pride in the Korean American community about Andy Kim being elected to the Senate. He's been a three-term congressman, and we do already have other members of Congress, but this is the first time that a Korean American has been elected to the U.S. Senate. I think it was just such an important milestone for many immigrants and children of immigrants. We see this level of political representation as a sign that we belong in America, that we have political voice and representation. And so it was an extremely emotional and exciting time for the Korean American community.
Right, exciting and also inspirational for a lot of younger generations there. Now, let's discuss more about this third-term congressman. Andy Kim's come a long way as a political figure in the U.S. Now, how has he been known in the States?
Well, I think Andy Kim is not seen as the most shiny politician in any way. He is incredibly smart and dedicated, and I think really seen as a politician who is in politics for the right reasons, one who is dedicated to truly to public service, and that is the reason he's gone into this arena. I think his reputation and his leadership is marked by incredible integrity. I think the one incident that cemented in many of our minds about his character and his devotion to serving the country and really the respect for democracy was on January 6th in 2021, when after the attack on Congress that led to many, and he was in the building at the time along with fellow members of Congress, that as he was leaving that night, unaware really that there were cameras around, that he just very spontaneously started picking up the garbage and some of the trash that was around, and it was just, the halls of Congress were a mess, and he was there picking it up in his, wearing his suit and tie. And I think for many people who saw that as such a statement of who he really is and what kind of character he has.
Right, says a lot about him, not just as a politician, but just as an individual, as a U.S. citizen. Now, I hear President Yoon, you've had yourself a chance to learn about his personal journey in person and what it means to build power and drive change as Korean Americans. Tell us more about that experience.
Well, that's right. So I am the president and CEO of the Korean American Community Foundation, KACF. We are the largest philanthropy in the U.S., providing grants to nonprofit organizations that are helping low-income and vulnerable neighbors in our communities. And also we advance philanthropic giving in our community. So every year we convene a giving summit. It's a conference where we explore and celebrate what giving can look like and what it is. And this year in September, Andy Kim spoke at our Giving Summit. And I just remember, he talked about how giving can take many forms. People always think of it in terms of money, which is of course important, but we can also think about giving through service, through social impact, through volunteerism, and many other ways. And but of course we can't, forget the dollars, which are important. And I have to say that throughout Andy Kim's campaign, many Korean Americans mobilized around the country, enthusiastically funding his campaign. And I think the practice of philanthropy becoming more common and habituated for Korean Americans, that we are exercising our giving muscle and building infrastructure around giving to drive change that we see as being important. It really showed up through the generosity and organization of Korean Americans around Andy Kim. And I do think that this is also a generational shift, something that 1.5 and second generation Korean Americans are really rising up together with the first generation. And this will continue to grow as we build our philanthropic, but also political power.
Definitely. Before I let you go, President Yoon, what is it? Tell us what the Korean American community is really looking forward to the most during his 6-year term. Any particular field of interest?
Well, I think that we understand that as a U.S. Senator, Andy Kim is, a senator for all of his constituents in New Jersey and really for all Americans and not just Korean Americans. And yet for our community, there is just so much pride in having him as the first Korean American senator. He has said that he is dedicating himself to really helping the country heal, because this election was very divided, and also for Democrats, it was a big disappointment. But for Korean American Democrats, Andy Kim's election was really a bright spot and giving hope and really looking towards the future. Senator-elect Kim talks often about his 2 sons who are 7 and 8 years old and how he does what he does for their future. And I think all Korean Americans understand that the significance for our future generations to be able to look at political leaders and see somebody who looks like us. And that representation is essential for our future.
Prime example of that. Now, President Yoon, thank you so much for joining us all the way from New York this morning. You have a great night there.